believe we're alive. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved, and the holy friend. What a day. Feel kind of odd. Feels like a dream-esque. Like it's not real. Like it has no impact. Like it couldn't possibly change anything. And yet, it probably will. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back in a second. Know that you'll change the world, friend. This whole topic, if you're just tuning in for a few moments on the Reddit stream, you will change the world. Not maybe he could, not, if you did so and so, will. No, you just will. You cannot help it. I'll dive a little bit deeper, but I love you, and I want you to know that. There we go. I'll say hello. Just again. Just you're like just here now. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Is that Cavendish and Jumpin' Jack joining us? So, what other J words do I know? Jurisdiction was coming to my mind for a second. Jarringly? Yes. What is happening to me? The fast is actually kicking my ass. Like it was like really trying to convince me today. It was like telling me all of these stories. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and then remember when we were talking about how the ego cashes checks that the present self kind of has to, why can't I freaking words now again? The ego gives out checks that the current self, the presence, has to check. Why? Like, I freaking cannot words right now. What's happening to me? Dan moet ek Afrikaans praat. Weet jy wat? Ja, ek gaan Afrikaans praat want dis dag is my eerste taal. Dan kan ek net sowel enige foute maak as ek wil maak en julle gaan nie weet nie. Ja. Ja. Wat daarvan? Ja, wat daarvan dan? Een persoon wat actually Afrikaans verstaan wat nou in tune. Wat's hy? Praat ons steeds nonsense though. Praat ons steeds nonsense. I'm basically just ranting about I'm gonna start speaking Afrikaans so that I can make mistakes without you friends now. That way you're making mistakes because you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not delirious slash super tired slash kind of defeated slash got attacked by bees like 40 minutes ago. No, surely not. Oh goodness, I feel like my mind is so wired right now. I had some coffee, black coffee of course, and got to have like a nice hot shower actually today. I don't have hot water in my own room, so I occasionally use the indoor shower, and that one has hot water at least. So I got to take a hot shower today, wash my hair. My sister bought some new coconut curl cream shampoo or something like that, and I was like, ooh, fancy, looks nice. Used a little bit of that. Hair smelled nice. Walked outside and the bees were like, yeah, hair smells nice, fam. And then there were bees in my hair, and I don't think I'm the most graceful person when I have bees in my hair. All of this work I do catering to a persona, just like out of the window as soon as there's bees in your hair. Believe me, believe you me, bees in your hair will shift everything for you. And then as I'm like getting these bees out of my hair, they basically release these pheromones, telling their other bee homies that they're supposed to, you know, get them basically. And then one of them got him in my face, on my eyebrow, and I, and I'm just like, I'm going through this whole thing because today, as I was meditating on loving kindness, and like I just get into my meditation, and there's this bee in my room, and I'm like, Breton, you are disturbing me, but you're probably also having a bad time. So I opened the window and I let it outside. And I swear, no more than 2 minutes later, there's another bee in the room. And I get up again. And with loving kindness, I'm like, I love you, little bee. I'll set you free, little friend. And I set him free as well. And then they sting me, in the same day that I did that twice. And it's just this joke, like this serious, serious joke where I was like actually laughing. Where I was like, of course, the day I'm practicing loving compassion towards the bees, they sting me. Just to like really reflect. Oh yeah? Think you love bees? Oh, you hippie? Get wrecked, Mother Nature says. And here I am, wrecketh. And yet still love the little bees just as much. I wonder what my hair looked like from an aroma standpoint. Probably looked like a bushel of flowers or something. Can't really judge them. Brother Merman, it's nice to have you here. I love you too. Sending love to you, Mermama, and Stephanie too. And to the mountains, of course. Hello, Truth. It's nice to have you too, friend. So much love to you. Even Maxine. Morning loves. Hope you're all thriving and happy. Even more thriving, even more happy that you're here with us. Natalie is joining us as well, saying you can and are changing the world. That is our topic for today. Is the fact that you will change the world. That you cannot help it. That you literally cannot help it. Just think about that. Like let's spend a moment in reflection of that fact. It might not be a fact. You might not believe me, but this is a fact of my existence. I believe this like it's a fact, right? That by consuming a cup of water, that cup of water has to go through you, and then is in turn influenced by you, right? Same with eating food. Same with walking out on grass and stepping on the ground. Same with chasing your pet around on that grass. Same with going and talking to one of your loved ones about you chasing your pet around on the grass, right? Like every single one of these things might be seen as different levels of importance, different levels of impact, and yet every single one of them changes the world on a literal level. That you are changing the world right now by breathing oxygen molecules. You are transmuting oxygen into carbon dioxide, literally changing the world. You cannot help it. And upon really realizing that, I want us to embrace that idea that we are not only in the kind of logical, reductionist way changing the world, but that we are capable. That we are. Not only are we capable, but we cannot not be capable of changing the world. I find myself thinking about why it is I have this idea in my head to want to change the world. Where does that come from? Like, what is it in me that has that do things, change the world? Joe, why is it always in the back, like, right? Like, and I wonder, is it because I've gotten myself to the point where I want to change the world, or is it hard to believe that because people think they can't? And I remember so thoroughly this colleague that I was working with in China showing me this little comic where it's like a rainforest little tile, and then the next one is a little puddle tile, and then the next one next to that one you see a little silhouette of a fish in a puddle of water, and then it zooms in on the fish, and the little fish is alone in that little puddle of water in the middle of the rainforest, and he goes, I will change the world. And he shows this to me almost from a place of, yeah, look at this. You know, this is what you have to realize, or something like that. And I look at it and I'm like, that's so beautiful. Hell yeah, little fish. And I see him looking at me, not getting what he thought he was gonna get from me. And I'm like, dude, yeah, you know. And I mean, if you want to go into the scales of infinity, just thinking about the size of our universe, right, infinitely expanding, yes, we're less than, literally, significantly less than fish in a small puddle somewhere in a rainforest. And yet we have changed the world for one another, for ourselves, the way we see the world, the way we interpret one another, the way we think of ourselves in the context of others, right? Like thinking of ourselves as odd or separated from the rest of the infinity, because surely there's nobody that could understand the way I think about things. And yet here we are, having changed each other's world by being in each other's worlds. You've changed my world, friend. Continue to. My world, your world, the world of your family members, the loved ones that you share time with. Change the world for all of us. You will. You just have to believe you can. You just have to believe you can, and that's where the true power comes from. That self-confidence helps. Love you from the corner of my world. Thank you, Natalie. Love you too. Antunes joining us here as well. Mel, please remind us, old drink water, like really tell everyone, hey, everyone, this is your daily reminder to consume hydrogen oxide. Lots of it. Hydrogen oxide sounds kind of bad. Hydrogen dioxide. Damn it! Or is it dihydrogen oxide? I think it might be dihydrogen oxide. Yeah, that's the right one. Finally. My brain is like either working at too high a capacity or not at all at capacity. I really want to eat food again. I do. But like more because I'm craving it, not because I'm hungry. Like I'm not even hungry at all, not even remotely. But I'm like, my mom, it's my mom's birthday today. It's my mom's birthday today. So last night she was baking some what we call piakaniet taart, which is a pecan pie basically, which you basically take sugar, cream, I think butter as well, and then you boil it together, and then you make a shortbread base, and then you bake that shortbread base, and then you take that shortbread base out of the oven after having been baked a little bit, and then you add like pecans, pecan, piakaniet. Yay, sit piakaniet op die taart. And then after putting these pecans on the tart, you cover it in this caramelized buttery sugar. And it becomes this taffy, stretchy, like connective goo that holds these nuts together on a shortbread base. And I seriously will fight, you know, a titan for a slice of pecan pie. I don't even know if there will be left. My mom took it for all of her friends that will come and visit her today for her birthday. But dude, my brain is like, yeah, maybe we can break the fast in order to eat pecan pie. It's like, no, you can't. You can't just do that. That's not how it works. Thank you so much. It is also Miss Molly's birthday. Happy birthday, Mama. Miss Molly. I'll share with her that there is a friend having a birthday in this space as well. Happy birthday to you, dear friend. Thank you for joining us on your birthday. I hope it's a beautiful one. Fellow Fractal, all of us, all of us. Warm greetings to you too, Brother Isaac. So nice to have you here, man. How are you doing? I love hair wash days. Yeah, me too. But it seems whatever I wash my hair with today, just like turned on crazy. There's just like extreme noise in my hairstyle today. Yes, there's like a gang noise in every direction. Who needs information anyway? Thank you, Miss Molly. We're here to thank you in this moment, right? Because if you didn't tell us, and you weren't here to tell us, then we wouldn't be here to thank you for telling us in the first place. So love you and thank you, my friend. It's so nice to have you here. I'm feeling peaceful this morning, Cantoons. I hope your back is feeling better today. Thank you, Shan, for sharing that love both ways. The bees followed me too, but that is because my dog tried to play with them. Oh, yeah, they will do that. Pippi is. I almost cursed. Pippi is very scared of bees. Joy Beavis as well, yeah. It's not a vibe having little dudes with swords attached to their asses that they pump poison through, you know, literally unguarding, stabbing your face and stuff. Why? Why, little bees? I have nothing but admiration for you, dudes. Please save it yourself. I'm not a threat. I haven't ever been a threat. That's true. I haven't actually ever been a threat to them. Picturing Shanananaski level of excitement when greeting everyone that shows up in chat. She really is beautiful, isn't she? Thank you, Natalie, for recognizing that beauty as well. I'm terrified of bees. I'm still so stiff. I think I tore a muscle, but I had just been smoking it off. Thanks for asking, Shan. Glad you're feeling the peace. Please stretch. Please stretch, truth. You know, like I feel hurting ourselves usually puts us in the space of, okay, I'm not going to move until I feel better. But unfortunately, movement helps healing. You know, it might hurt moving while you're hurt, but it will aid you in your healing process. I am not a medical professional. This is just what I know about anatomy and my personal experience. But I love you, brother Ben. I want you to feel better. Do feel better. You feel better right now, Tree. Stop, stop feeling bad right now. Thank you, Gateway, for joining us as well. So nice having you here, party friend, the goblin herself. Feeling well. I a little tired today, so very grateful for this weekend. How was your experience, brother Bay? How did it end up being, actually? I'm sorry to hear that. Contunes, love, 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 love. 11:11 here. That was a early 11:11. I missed that one, unfortunately, with you. I hope you have a relaxing and restful weekend in store, Isaac. Thank you for that. I'm going to family on Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully, probably just Saturday. We'll probably be back here on Sunday to do my yoga classes and stuff. I am unable to stay for long at the moment, but we'll try to be back. If I don't make it, follow my fractal to the next adventure. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing even a moment, friend, for letting us elicit the fractal from the infinity that is Natalie. Right? There's infinite nothingness, everythingness, and within that infinite nothingness and everythingness, there was you. Now, changing the world. How dare you? How dare you not believe it? I'm good, Shan. I could have been worse, so I'm just happy to be lucky. Absolutely. Thanks for the love. Sending it right back to you, Brother Bear. Happy birthday to Mel's mama. Thank you. I'll be sure to send her your love, dear friends. Thank you so much. Say what? Happy birthday to Miss Molly as well. Extra love coming your way, Miss Molly. I get off work early tomorrow and then Monday off. No extra hair clients either. I gotta find some way to celebrate. Dude, I just think loving you is gonna be a good celebration. I also have a celebratory weekend planned for myself, and I have another friend who also has a celebratory weekend planned for himself. And I was like, yo, synchronicity. So even more your way, Brother Bear. I hope it's a beautiful one, and I'm sure it will be. Melty, tell Mama happy birthday to the Virgo goddess herself. I will surely do that. Thank you so much, Maxine. I appreciate the love. What does she like? I'd love to throw her a drawing as appreciation for bringing up such a beautiful soul. What does she like? She likes shoes, dude. She really likes shoes. Like it's basically a meme at this point. She likes shoes. What does my mom like? That's yeah, shoes, dude. Like that. Unironically, my mom likes shoes. I don't know if you can make a work of art out of shoes. The wind is kind of cutting me a little bit. It's a little bit cold. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness, Brother Bam. That's what matters the most at the end of the day. Melty, are they bees or wasps? They're very much bees. I wonder if they're one of your animal guides. The wasp is. I've actually drawn a psychedelic wasp. No, it's a psychedelic bee, technically, but it looks like a wasp in the drawing I did of it. Maybe. Actually, maybe. Like the bee that I ended up drawing was this bee that I was seeing drowning in a body of water. And I was like, this dude doesn't look like he's having a good time. So I picked him up with a stick out of the water and I put him on a flower. And I thought, if you're gonna have to die, dying on a flower as a bee sounds like more of a vibe. And I took some pictures of him as he was on the bee, on the flower. And then I ended up, drawing him as a reference. I am not the one to celebrate my birthday or even tell anyone, but since struggling with my health, hearing happy birthday is kind of cool. Happy birthday! Happy birthday to Miss Molly! Yo! Happy, so happy to bring some good mental healths, all of the healths in your mentalities to you. I'm going to a powwow on Sunday, picking up a friend on the way. I don't know what a powwow is actually. It's just like a get together, like a party, bunch of people seeing one another. Seems we're all going to be having good weekends. Woohoo, Isaac, you deserve some relaxation time. I hope you spend your long weekend taking a little extra care of you. So, happy birthday to Mama and the sweetest, sweet Miss Molly. Thanks for a reminder of how appreciative I am to know you, friend. Thank you. Thank you, Isaac, for knowing in this moment, friend. Right? Like I'm at this point completely convinced that I don't want to take credit for things. That we do have to, in some way, take credit, but I never want to take credit from a place of egotistical understanding. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I would rather just give you the honor. It's easier, unfortunately, so I might be lazy and be like, yeah, I could, be like, yeah, I did all of these things for so long so that I can do this right now and be the way that I am. But instead, no you. No freaking you, friend. Everything you're seeing is but a reflection. One of my favorite analogies is that I'm actively trying to polish the mirror or the reflection that I am to the rest of the world. And if you see something beautiful in me, it is only because that beautiful thing is in you. Me reflecting the beauty that is in you back to yourself. How about that? Happy birthday, miss. Thank you. Blushing. It's nice to see you here, friend. You've been missed. You've been dearly missed. This sun just looks like it's an ember being manufactured by this tree. Unfortunately, it doesn't translate that well on the YouTube. Let's see if I can show you. Kinda. It looks more trippy on the Reddit side. It looks like a gem. The sun is a gem, burning so bright, making me want to take flight. You might even actually be able to see it if the Reddit camera is too far to the side. At least for a moment, we can see the sun. Like, is that just me or is that trippy imagery? Like the way it looks on the Reddit, it straight up looks like magic that's happening right now. Looks like it's alive. I'm so cold. I feel kind of flighty slash airy within my mind space, within my body. I guess that would happen. But I feel for some reason like I should be one thing or another. I made a boo-boo at work. Gateway process. What boo-boo did you make? Did you submit one of the spreadsheets upside down? that is that is me trying to back and forth, having absolutely no idea. Exactly. I knew it. I freaking knew it. I'm actually pretty good. Tap self on back. Freaking. The tree branch looked like it's holding the sun. Yes, it does. It looks like the sun is inside of that tree branch, and the tree branch is letting some of the sun out when it wants to. Exactly. You are beautifully perfect, regardless. Gateway process. Your boss might not say that to you, but I get to perfectly. I don't see any mistakes. No mistakes whatsoever. They're like, yeah, Mel, because it's not your bit. I don't see any mistakes. The mirror. We mirror the people we love in small ways. In a way, it feels like honoring our friendship and all the best parts of each other. Absolutely blushing. It's almost like an acknowledgement. Being willing to see the beauty in another person really takes a lot. Like it shows something about your character as well. Because so many of us are so preoccupied with being one way, being one thing or another, to the point where we're unwilling to acknowledge when someone is that, when someone has that power, when someone is something that you maybe want to strive to be. And instead of acknowledging them for being that, you would rather try and degrade. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, right? I'm just talking about what I've noticed in human behavior. You would rather try to degrade the other person than actually uplift them, acknowledge that they're doing something good as well. And you, friends, and I mean this community as a whole, have inspired me so much that we have such a deep appreciation for each other's happiness, for each other's success, for each other's, ability to realize things, to manifest. It makes me happy. You, friends, make me happy. Thank you, blushing. I can look at the sun every day and still be taken by its beauty. Our yellow star. There are entities living on planets that have red stars. All of their light is just red. Right? Imagine what an existence like that would be like, and yet here we get to have a yellow one. A powwow is a sacred social gathering held by many North American indigenous communities. A modern powwow is a specific type of event for Native American people to meet and dance, sing and socialize and honor their culture. Miss Molly, not that it ever mattered to me, but are you Native American? And not that it matters to me if you're not, I'm curious if you're still allowed to go to a powwow or if you're not. I'm just trying to understand. Thank you for sharing with me. Mojo is here as well. So much love to you, Brother Bale. I'll read your message in a second. Truth says, the infinite burning fractal sprout from the tree of life. I mean, the tree of life is an infinitely burning fractal, isn't it? Maybe one of the branches of the tree of life is an infinitely burning fractal. I went to some when I lived in the Bay Area years ago. Very powerful. Just being able to get together. It's actually something I shared with my dad as well before he left today. Is that he was like asking me about playing roller ball or something like that. Roll ball. I don't know what you call it in English, but it's basically these big balls, and then you have a smaller ball, and then you want to throw the small ball with your big balls. And my dad is like, "You want to play with us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, thank you, but no, thank you, not exactly my game." And he like basically tries to hype me up for it, and I'm like, "Is this a church thing?" He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," and that's something that I said this to my dad. That is something that I do believe is of value within the church community, but I also believe it's the only thing of value within the church community is the community, right? The fact that you can go now with people that you believe think similarly as you and do things together, where you might not necessarily have access to events like that or know the people to go to the events to with, right? So as a church, suddenly everybody knows one another and can organize things as a collective. So that part of the church, I'm like, yeah, you got a church, but all of the you're separate and you are doomed to hell unless you follow these specific instructions. There you go. 888. Thank you so much, Maxine, for sharing that with me as well. I've been seeing the numbers 44, 66, and 99 a lot as of late as well. 888, all the more so. I added 88 to my flower yesterday. Sharing love back to you. Thank you. Aunt B is joining us as well. Sending love to you. Greetings from Lurkmanistan. You're meaning that you're lurking. Just imagining a whole country where nobody knows about the country, Lurkmanistan, because they've just been lurking this whole time. Haven't said anything. Rare day off, Melty. Thank you for reflecting loving positive energy every day. Thank you for doing the same, friend. This is a community driven effort, right? We're all doing that wherever we are in the world. And if we can all do that wherever we are in the world, surely the world will change. I said they pay me more if they expect me to juggle 100 things. Hey, pay me more if you expect me to juggle 100 things. You said that? And that was a boo boo? I hear boo boo, but on the other side of my head is empowerment. Boo, empowerment. I think it's good. that you said something? Did they not like that? We're like, "Ah, na, 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 na." Or did they just give you a look and that look was unsettling? And now you feel like you made a boo. I'm so curious about your fractal gateway. Good morning to you too, Sena. So much love to you, friend. It's nice to have you. Your dad wanted to spend time with you. He does, and we do. We do. We've been having good chats actually. You know, and we're going to go on like a family thing this weekend, and he was excited about me going along with that as well. And yeah, it's just I don't particularly enjoy the church community, right? Like the reason they're a community is because they believe a certain set of things. And my dad is very vocal about the things I believe, especially with his church community. So as soon as they see me, it's like being, thrown in a tank of sharks where all of them are like, this dude is gonna get so Christian today. You're gonna get so converted. And then I'm like, oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate your anecdote. Thank you, ma'am. I understand where you're coming from. Everybody's so desperately trying to save me. I guess that's the joke, right? That's the joke. Today's whole stream topic about this understanding, this belief that you can change the world and by extension, save the world. Maybe the world thinks the same thing that I would be thinking in the context of someone coming and trying to convert me to something else. I'm like, oh, we're gonna save the world, and the world is like, who says I need your saving, noob? Who says? Fine world. I just wanted to be good for my kids as kids, yo. Like, yes, see, they deserve greenery, little animals frolicking around, fresh produce. They deserve all of that stuff too. It's not for me. We have all of these things. I finished watching Don't Look Up today. I watched it in like parts. And dude, yes, what an analogy for where we are right now. We have everything. We have everything, friends. Right now, we have everything. We only stand to lose if we don't change. We might lose even with change. Maybe not lose, maybe just have less. Maybe that'll be a good thing. You know what? I feel like that's a heavy enough note to smoke on. Change is inevitable, and so are you. Like within infinity, eventually there's you. And not only do we not have to wait anymore, because you're already here. Huh? Within infinity, within everythingness, eventually there will be you. And that eventually is now. Yasi, cheers to that. Pick one of the scrawniest scars to try and do this with. Dude, now the wind is letting me out. What do you want to do? Like I'm cold as well. Yeah, I'm gonna go and get myself a blanket. Unfortunately, when you don't have any calories in your body, every single one of your mitochondria kind of down-regulate the amount of energy they ceaselessly burn. And by an extension, your body produces less heat. So I am going to go and get myself a little bit of a heat. You silly thing. I'm getting a bunch of dust on my stuffs. There we go. That's better. It's better. It's actually much better. Just a little bit holy. That sounds so healing. I wish I had the opportunity to go to such a beautiful and peaceful peaceful environment. Such a happy birthday to you, friend. Thank you. Truth, manifest, friend. Those experiences are within the infinity, after all. You can have them too. Within the everything, you. Changing things now. Do you believe you can change the world? Like I've been basically projecting this whole time. Do you believe you can change the world? And change might be easier to swallow. So by extension, do you believe you can save the world? Do you believe you can save the world? And then upon answering that question, no matter what your answer is, just reflecting on why it is you're saying that. Again, if everybody else believed the same thing, would that be a good or a bad thing? Hermias Plur. Thank you, Water. King in the north. Technically, I live in South Africa, so I would have to be king of the south in this world at least. You know, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Thank you for joining me, though. It's nice to have you here, Mr. Face. I have a Native American Indian in my blood. Very cool. Anyone can attend a public powwow. I'm happy to hear that as well, Miss Molly. I also have Indian. I have an Indian great, I think another great grandma. Something one of my uncles found out upon researching our bloodline. I'm not sure if it's true. I would like to eventually get my DNA tested. See. I'll only get my DNA tested if it's actually useful. You know, like not... I mean, it could be useful, but you get pretty rudimentary data right now. I would like us to have a very good understanding about what our DNA does and what different things represent before I go and do that. Actually get good data, right? If I'm gonna give my data, I would really like to get good data in return, because that is technically what you're doing. You're trading data for data. You're trading your genetic code for the codes within your genetic code to notice what codes your genetic code turn on and turn off. And I feel like that's going to be a big area of exploration in the future we're heading into. Seeing and knowing what different gene expressions does to us. It's going to be quite interesting. It melts my heart that your dread is trying to connect with you. Mine too, actually, Maxine. It's been beautiful. It's been really beautiful. I've been really enjoying it as well. I'm sorry it is an environment that isn't as open and welcoming. Have you tried to initiate a hangout with your dad with what you like? Interesting. Interesting you say that. Very interesting. I've been thinking about inviting him for my meditation sessions. You know, I meditate pretty reliably every single day. And like I come in and sit down and then I just spend some time with my thoughts in my environment, deeply reflecting. And we don't even have to talk. That's the nice thing. Like there's no room for arguments if we're not talking, but we can spend time together like that. So I hope he takes me up on my offer when I ask him eventually. Thank you for prompting me and encouraging me to do the same. I appreciate that, Maxine. Don't look up is such a good analogy. Yeah. Great movie. It is. I would definitely recommend you friends watch it if you haven't. You know, it's one of those movies that really makes you think, feel. Like I cried. I cried hardcore watching that movie. I've been having trouble commenting on both Reddit and YouTube, sending your love with my brainwaves. Hmm. Ooh, what? No. Okay, so that's kind of weird. Uh, hmm. I saw an eye at first, and I was like, interesting eye. And I got closer and closer and closer to it. And then it turned out to be imagine a snake is pointing at the camera. This is my perspective seeing it inside. Was like this. Like this. And then this part is completely blacked out. So it's like black in the an eye cross section. And I was like, eye. And then I got closer. And then it's this black cross section, and the rest of the thing is this white cobra. So it was this white opening cobra with this black little center point. And as soon as I noticed it was a white cobra, it tripped me out for a second. Sending you love, Maxine. Goodness. Sending those brainwaves right back, Chauvin, they're powerful. Yes, they can be. I will be meeting with the shaman and catching up. Excited to go already. When are you going, friend? It's gonna be tomorrow, probably. Thank you so much. My turds change the world. Yes, they do. They unironically do, friend. There's like a bunch of microorganisms that live in your turds, and those microorganisms will catch a ride with whatever system you're using. Your, stuff can get either recycled, which means we can reuse the water, which we are doing in certain cities at this point, actually, or it can be, analyzed. Weirdly enough, like cities like London, for example, analyze their sewage systems, and by analyzing, and this might be disgusting, but to me it's fascinating because again, data, information. They analyze the sewer systems, and in doing so, they can basically determine the general health and well-being of their city's people, how much drugs their city's people are using, in all different forms. It's so fascinating. The amount of information we have right now already is a little bit bonkers, and yet we want more. I think we want more because we believe at some point we'll have enough to find security. Ironically, we'll find singularity before we do security, and then with singularity, suddenly there is security. Maybe it's not that instant, but it does kind of work that way. Like I'm calling myself out. That's what I'm like really thinking about right now. It's like why do I want so much information? Like if I could, I would have another layer of reality hyper positioned over top of this reality, where anything that I look at, I can instantly deconstruct and analyze to the base components, down to the molecules slash proteins slash compounds that the thing contains, and then destroying it or zooming even deeper to understand the fundamental molecules within the system as well. And then I wonder why? Why do I want to do that? Like I already try to do that just looking at things. And I wonder what that's useful for. Am I overcomplicating things? Am I making things more beautiful for myself? Am I trying to learn? Am I trying to solve a problem? Am I trying to change the world? We all change the world. We already have. Just like with these devices. The reason these devices exist in the way they do is because people were willing to buy them. Not only that, but people were willing to buy them from different people. And then those different people made them more desirable to buy. And they competed. And now we have these things with the amount of tech, like they've almost, I'm gonna call basically plateaued. Plateaued? Yes. Like phones won't get that much better from a use case scenario, right? Like we've reached certain screen ratios at this point. Our pixel density is at a point where it's almost inconceivable as well. Our sound is pretty good. Our connectivity is pretty good. I don't know if there's any more there to be explored. The next step is going to be higher bandwidth interfacing, probably. I believe that's going to be like the next cell phone. It's going to have to be high bandwidth interfacing instead of like actual cell phones. Where did I get? Why am I here? Oh yeah, changing the world. You have the fact that you own a cell phone means that you have inevitably changed everything forever. Congratulations. You did it. You did it. I've been having a lot of conversations with my grandmother about her Christian beliefs. She is super into the end of the world, and I tried to scare me when I was a kid. Yeah, mine too. All of them. Like perpetually telling me that the world is gonna end. And if I'm not ready, if I'm not prepared, then I'll be left behind with all of the sinners. And I'll have to live 7 years in the most torturous existence I've ever lived, and there's gonna be these demons with 7 eyes on 7 different heads. I'm like listening to these stories as like a 6-year-old, actually getting scarred, like viscerally deep scars in my psyche of like, what the fuck? These things are gonna happen. These people that I trust more than anything in the world believe this. They tell me this is what's gonna happen. What is happening? What the fuck is happening? And then they're surprised. I mean, maybe I should be the one that's surprised that I turned out the way that I turned out. Maybe I'm surprised that there's not more of me in that way, right? Like I felt like an outcast in high school because I was this one fucking manic atheist trying to tell people, please, please stop believing. Please stop. Right, and now it's gone from complete belief in something outside of myself to stopping believing in anything and then floating as I guess a single agent, right? And then believing in the self, almost like making it a unity, making it the reflection instead of just going in loops. The infinity forms and it's a reflection of itself. Yes, logicizing. This is exactly why we overthink. At least this is why I overthink things, because the more I overthink, the more nuance I get to discover on whatever the topic might hold. I have changed the world. Yes, you have, Miss Molly. You've changed mine. You've literally changed mine. And you have changed mine now, which means that your change on the now will compound into the future, into infinity. You have changed the world, Miss Molly. I thank you for that. Please let us know how it goes. Please do. Brain thoughts intensifies. Good morning. Just dropping in with a love heart. Thank you, Goo. I appreciate you, Brother Bear. Thank you, on B, for the love as well. Max says, dude, it is my dream Cobra coming to you. The dream world keeps showing up a lot. Something is shifting in a major way. There is just the barriers are melting. The separations, the permeability between us and infinity is melting away slowly. All we have to do is melt more. Take me, infinities. Take me, all of infinities, because you are the center point of all of the infinities. Flowing through you ceaselessly, intersecting all of it. You're changing the world by doing so, friend. You're here to change the world. That's literally why you're here. You're not here to be a victim. You're not here to be, limited. You're not here to be sad. You're here to change everything. You already have. You just have to continue to. Melty, aren't you asking why you want so much info? Have you ever calculated your life path number? Yeah, you sound like you're a 7, seeker of the truth. That sounds about right. I'm not sure. life path number. I don't think I have just yet. Maybe I should check it out. What is your life path number? What is your life path? 7 as well. Where do you find out? Probably just what is my life path number on Google, and you'll find it. There we go. There's website and books that teach you how, if I remember correctly. It's adding up your birth date numbers. I'm not 100% sure though. I, uh, I was starting to do the math, but I don't know how they add them up. Some of them add them up by every single time it becomes a double digit, they collapse them back into one. I guess that's the way you're supposed to do it, but that's a little bit too much for my brain right now. -5. I'm curious as to what these things mean. I'm curious as to see if you could actually get all of the info, right? The data again, knowing what numbers, star signs, archetypes, etc., etc., etc. With more and more complexity, figure out who people are. If you would be able to, at some point, detect some sort of synchronicity, some sort of patterning arising from that information. But again, then we're falling into privacy issues. Oh no, don't take my information. But if I had your information, then I would know things. And that's literally what big data does. It's like, well, I want to know the things. I love knowing things. So nice. It gets a little bit much, especially when we forget that even though, yes, this data is great, it's still people. It's still a person, right? It might be a data point within a set, but every single data point isn't just a data point, it is a whole ass infinity, a fractal human being, where fractal is the reoccurrence of a certain system, a certain pattern. You can have children, right? If you're a female, it's even more fractally, where you can make another female inside of you, and then it can, and she already has all of her eggs, and her eggs could make more females, and you see the point I'm trying to make, right? Fractal, reoccurrence, humaning, fractaling right now. You are a fractal of humanity. It's an infinity, and it's significantly more than what we're considered as right now, because we are very much considered as data points, consumers right now. I feel like that's going to be one of the craziest shifts for all of us, Maxine, is to shift from a consumer-based economy to a creator-based economy, where consumption is not going to be seen as something to get from you, right? Like if we were living in a consumer-based economy, whoever figures out the best thing that people want to consume will end up getting the most of that consumer-based economy, right? Where if we transition to an industry where the things we consume, our food and drink, our clothing, are catered for, like we don't have to kind of like struggle for these things. How is that going to change the way we see the data? It's going to be significant. Consuming is going to go away because it's not going to be seen as consuming, it's just going to be seen as maintenance. And then on top of maintenance, you can build. It works that way with bodybuilding, it works that way with business. It will definitely work that way on a planetary level as well. It probably works that way on a galactic level. To see every single thing as significant and to allow it to have as much significance as it possibly can. Instead of expecting it to do something insignificant because it is insignificant, so that it can continue to exist insignificantly, to make everything significant, to empower things to be significant so that they can be more significant. I think that's the most times I've said significance in a single sentence. But yeah, wow, significance. You are significant, friend. I don't at this point I don't even know what significant means anymore. But I know that I feel that about you, friend. So much love to you. I know my life path, gift, attitude, expression, soul urge, and personality number all are spot on. I know more things now. I can confidently say thank you, Miss Molly. Maxine says, I saw this video of how to calculate your personal fractals and predict when it will revisit your life again once you put it in your first memorable life changing. Once you put in your first memorable life changing moment. Guy.com has it. Thank you, Maxine, for letting us know, friend. I'm at this point kind of curious what I'll discover myself. You know, I feel like I'm really unwilling to go to any teachers right now. You know, I feel Brother Ryan is the closest I've ever gotten to a mentor, and I feel it might be the closest I ever get to a mentor because I feel like there's so much significance and a sense of awe or a sense of palpability when you discover something for yourself. Like someone can't take that away from you then, where a lot is taken away from me when I listen to someone else tell me it. And I feel, I don't want to be limited by that as well. To like it's cool to have all of that information. And again, talking about the information, right, Maxine? It's cool to have all of that. But I feel on a deep level that that information could inevitably be limiting because it's giving you information on yourself, which could be counterintuitive because this whole existence is the process of getting to know yourself. And then if, this process of getting to know yourself is then interrupted by it being like, oh yeah, all of this getting to know yourself, how about don't do that? How about this is what you are? And then it might sound good. So you're like, yeah, this is what I am, in fact. And then we can be limited by that as well. I'm not saying that's the way it is. I'm not saying that's how you are affected by it. But that is definitely where my resistance to these things come from. Some of you friends might resonate with that as well. What is a soul urge? Probably whatever your soul urges to do, whatever, it's almost like a purpose I feel a soul urge could be. Do let us know what it is, though. That's amazing, friend. You are amazing, Sena. No, that was my response to the boo boo. Ah, I think yes too. You'll make less boo boos if you're more motivated to not make boo boos. Can't express how much of a charming goblin that I am. People just start throwing money at you and be like, please, please stay. Dropping at your feet, kissing the floor that you're walking on. You know. So charming. Thank you. Thank you, Goblin. So much love to you. Lane. Hello, hello to you too, Brother Bear. How are you doing, man? How's life treating you? I'm feeling a little bit airy, dude. Like I'm somewhere else at the same time as I'm being here. Like I feel kind of out of it. Literally out of it. I think that's it's not much better way to describe it. I think it had the opposite effect, realizing that an infinitely loving God wouldn't condemn their own creation for eternity. Yeah, that would be a little bit counterintuitive, especially if you believe love is true. And it doesn't fit into that model, unfortunately. Why can't we just support each other, religion and relationship with the source of higher power? The most important part is having faith and building a relationship with God or higher power. I agree completely, Sena. I feel the reason that we have a hard time is because we believe different things, right? Our interpretation of the world is different. Where certain people, at least this is the way that I've interpreted in my current upbringing, within the Christian religion, are completely convinced that they are separate. Not only are they convinced they're separate, but they believe that that's the only way that it can be. That we are separate and small and insignificant and useless and sinful, and then we need this thing, this higher power, in order to be saved. Because we are nothing without having this something. And no matter what the religion is, if that is something you teach to the individual person, that you are not all that you are actually nothing, and that you need something, in order to be something, right? You need this something in order to achieve heaven. You need this something in order to not go to hell. That is a separation mentality. It's taking away parts from yourself, tapping into deep seated fears, getting burned by fire, being in lava, literally tapping into these deep seated human fears in order to manipulate your psyche to act in one way or another. Where I believe that the only way forward is to let people know that they can make a difference, that they are not insignificant, that you have the ability to change the world. And if we can actually have people believing that about themselves instead of believing they're these insignificant things waiting to be saved, that they are part and parcel the solution, the savior, you have to be the savior, friend. We can't wait for saviors. Every single one of us, has to be the savior in every single moment. If you see an old lady falling over, you know, she needs a savior. And now you can be like, hey, old lady, pray harder, noob. You can do that, you can be a devout Christian and be like, yeah, if she prayed harder, she wouldn't be falling over and stuff, Jesus would be holding her hand or whatever. I don't know if that's the way it works. I'm being a little bit satirical, but the I believe the way that our world should be modeled is to be the savior in that moment. Seeing the old lady fall down, you are the savior. You go and help the old lady up. You make sure she's okay. You call the ambulance if she's not okay. You be the savior. And if every single human being can take that onto their heart, I believe things will be fixed literally in days. In days, Sena. And I feel that's why I might have a problem with certain religious beliefs. I don't ever have a problem with the person and their belief in it. I just have a problem with the belief that you are separate, that you are not a part of this whole, that you need saving, that you cannot possibly save yourself. And by extension, if you can't save yourself, you definitely can't save anyone else. I feel it's like toxic. It's like poison to the human psyche to tell them that they are nothing. It's the one thing you can do to kill people slowly. And in doing so also generate wealth from them. Reap their corpses for reward. Don't Look Up was the most accurate depiction of the modern social structure I've ever seen. Dude. Yeah. Literally. The concert was a trippy scene. It was, dude. It was pretty trippy. I kind of didn't enjoy that at all, weirdly enough. Like, really, I really didn't enjoy that. Sena, because separation is the doctrine of the religious institutions. Yeah, truth is saying the same thing with different words or less. Divide and conquer. I understand what you mean, but putting a label on God is the root of the problem. Yeah, I feel the same. It instantly creates a separation. And I love this analogy of religion is when a bunch of people come together and agree amongst themselves what God is. They're like, you think this is God? Yeah, yeah, I think this is God. Okay, good. I also think this is God. So me and you have an understanding that this is God, right? Yes. Yes, in fact, that's God. Where spirituality is this moment, the active pursuit of what God is, and alongside that recognition, seeing God in everything, seeing God in my little doggo, seeing God in these beautiful strands of grass, alive, conscious, probably aware that I'm touching it right now. If I start pulling little bits of it off, it's going to release a stress hormone, being like, dude, please, I don't like that, right? Like there is God in everything. And to have that as a constant acknowledgement, instead of being like, this thing is God somewhere there. And you have to believe the same thing that I believe about that thing somewhere there for us to be friends. That is the thing. That is the thing that's the problem. I agree completely with the band. I'm so sick and tired of people not taking the time to figure themselves out instead of trying hard to be something that they are not, and then forcing me to be fake with them when I just want to be me. Sena, you inspire me, friend. Continue being you, even if it means losing friends. And this might be like, don't take my advice, but that's my advice. Yes, Isaac, Don't Look Up. That movie is so crazy. It pissed me off. And you're right, that's exactly how American government would handle it. Yeah. Probably. Like I feel if that was to happen in our world, they wouldn't tell us at all, ever. They just wouldn't tell us at all. You know, we would just see a comet in the sky, and then a week later you'd be evaporated. They would just be like, "Oh yeah, surprise!" That's probably how it would be. It would probably worse in our world. Gabby Day to all of you YouTubers. Dude, that gave me brain damage for a second. Love to you, Gabby Goo. I guess you're leaving, maybe. I'll see you again. Right? We rely on Arania far before on we'd rely on the news anchor, I believe. That dinner table scene. Oh my goodness, the tears that flowed. It was brutal. Hey, Katie is here as well. You've been missed, dear friend. It's nice to see you, Mariah, as well. How are you? It's been a while. Sending you lots of love. Thank you, Katie. Your love is received, dear friend. Sending it back to you. Thank you for joining me. How have you been? I've been good. Been present, been fasting for the last. It's like coming to the end of the fourth day now. I feel good for it. I am tired of it though. Looking forward to not being in this fractal anymore. But while I am, I'll be here for it fully. How about you, Katie? How about you, Fred? What's new with you? How have you been? I think with technological advancement that we figure out how to leave them behind. Probably, probably, like unironically actually. Hey Shan, good to see you. You're a one life path number, Mel. That sounds about right as well. Sena is a number nine. Huh? Shannon is a number seven. Math is power. Math is the language of the universe in a way as well. If math is the language of the universe, sacred geometry is the sentences, and existence is the meaning of those sentences. Yeah, quote me. Like I feel like the other part of myself is like, how about you sit down and then stay quiet for a while now? I should, shouldn't I? But I'm not gonna do. Never. That's crazy thought to feel like it could be on an intergalactic level. I'd like to see a creator-based economy class taught by Professor Melt. I will, surely, friend. I'm looking forward to the day even. I love being a consumer. Shopping is my jam. I have zero artistic talent. It's why I'm a patron and not a creative. Joy Vive, but you are. You just created something. That's the point. You literally just created something. There it is. I will love. Being a consumer. Shopping is my jam. I have zero artistic talent. Creating something artistically right in front of my eyes. It's why I'm a patron and not a creative. Dear friend, I love you so much. What I mean by creator economy is the fact that we will be able to create things in I want to say relation to the amount of things that we can consume. Like we're not gonna not be consuming things. We're still gonna eat food. We're still gonna wanna watch shows. We're still gonna play games. We're still gonna what other consumptions is there? Go parachute diving. Is that a consumption? Sure, right? But alongside that, we'll also have the means to create experiences for ourselves and for others. And I feel that's going to be the difference. We're going to actually see the individual as a creator, as the norm, right? Like that would be the norm. At least that's what I want to be, the norm. That people are creators first, consumers second. Consumers out of necessity, creators out of divinity. That's my mindset at least. Joy, we are all creators, friend. You are creating this right now, dude. Truth, the amount of synchronicities today, brother. Love to you, man. I had a dream last night that has been so stuck in my subconscious today. Want to share? Unburden yourself, maybe, Isaac? Sena says, ever since I was a kid, I felt connected to Gaia and my higher self and God, and I remember being very intuitive and feeling one with nature and the higher power, and it felt good about myself until my parents told me to stop being myself and I need to be seriously, not silly. And I feel like they killed my inner child. Your inner child is not killed, Sena. It's probably just hidden away, protected over layers and layers and layers. That stuff has to melt away. You know, when you're doing that, you're here, you're melting more, literally saying it. Melting all of those layers away, being willing to even say something about it is already scratching at the layers that you have plastered over it. You know, the layer of invisibility is the last one we put on. Pretend like it hasn't happened, pretend like it didn't exist, pretend like it's not real. You're already through that layer, beloved friend. You got this. I'm great, Kate. Excited for a long week and chiropractor appointment tonight. How are you? Thank you for the love, Isaac. I totally agree, Meltmore. And once we are all connected, even more with ourselves and each other, we will have all the answers we need. It's within us, but we need to stop putting fear into connecting to our higher self and each other. Once we all realize that we are all one, people, one, love. That's literally it, you know? Like the fear of being interconnected. Like that's why people, you know, throw the word cult around like it's an insult, like it's a weapon, like it's a, you know, a bad word to be associated with. Because we live in a society that is so terrified of connecting with other individuals in a way that is unglamorized, right? Like the glamorization of cults in our society has been people that committed mass suicide, people that, you know, na 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 na, like you have the stories in your head. And yet all of those stories are the worst sensationalist case scenarios that the media was like licking their lips, scaring people so that people can come back to know, oh, what's happening next? Oh, are these people gonna be okay? Oh, how can I avoid manana 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 manana? That we have been conditioned as a society at large to fear connecting with other people, fear having a community, fear being seen as someone that cares about other people. It's bonkers. It's absurd, and I see us, you know, changing that, changing the world, and doing so. Always keep an open mind. Ooh, I saw a pod that was completely blacked out and it had these colorful lines running up to the points of it. And then the points kind of like became illuminated. And as soon as they became illuminated, they started tearing open and it unfolded. And there was this beautiful, lush, rounded pink leaves, flowers, pink petaled flowers with these like tendrils coming out at the center of it. Keeping my mind as open as it can be. Sending the love to you too, Gateway Process. Bethany, love to you on me. Thank you for joining us here as well. I'm hungry, but I have a class soon and I don't have time to run and get food. Luckily, this will be my last class today, and then I can eat. Lane, I'm happy to hear that, Brother Ben. Sounds kind of early as well, so you'll get to have a good day. I hope at least. What do you want to eat? I truly believe if we spend too much time consuming information, we don't leave ourselves time to utilize and experience that knowledge. Beautifully said. You know, that's why I believe taking psychedelics, for example, should also be done in moderation. Like, in the way that we use our technology right now, it's like a day to day to day thing. And we're always like pouring information, pouring information, pouring information into ourselves. If we did psychedelics like that, we would lose our minds. And yet, it almost is that way. It's more tangible, at the same time, easier to access. Because instead of having all of the infinity with you right now, you have access to all of the infinity with you right now. And it's like a watered down version of the knowledge that you can have, that all of us has. Yossi, like I'm tripping out with what you said. You're right, Aunt B. Actually, spending time with ourselves allows us to utilize and experience that knowledge. I was like thinking to myself why it is I enjoy meditation so much, and I feel like that's a beautiful way to articulate it as well. Thank you, Aunt B. Actually got up there and live. Eden joining us as well. Ninja Peach, love to you. Thank you. You beautiful moment, you. Hey, boo. Rambler is here too. Sending love to you. Yes, Mel. That's how I feel about astrology and numerology. I think there is a value in both, but I can also feel like putting yourself in a box, which feels limiting to me personally. I knew there would be someone that resonates with that interpretation. That's why I had to share it. I feel, as you mentioned, it has potential benefit. You know, someone might have a harder time than others finding themselves. And if they find some level of security within that version of themselves that they're reading about, and in finding at least that security, finding stability within that self, can build on from that self, right? It becomes an ego thing again. It's just you putting on a different mask. Again, pretending like you're not everything. Oh, I'm actually a Taurus this time. Actually, I'm Shiva this time. Hmm. Actually, I'm Gandhi this time. Actually, I'm Buddha. Actually, I'm Jesus. Actually, different masks. Same you. Always. Always same you. And the crazy part about that is that you get to be a divinely unique, perfectly new you every single moment. That you are all of those things. And yet, this now. That this now is just as significant as all of those things could be, would be, should be. That there's nothing outside of this that could be wanted for because you are infinite. Right? Like that statement to me is like it's imagery, and then on top of it being imagery, it is interpretation of, life and death as well, where you are literally the balancing point between life and death, right? So there is what we think of as death or what comes after, and then there's what we think of as life. And we're constantly heading towards death, and yet we're smack dab in the middle of life. Like our death is inevitable, and yet so is our living. And that's how you're changing the world, just by existing. Just by existing. And we get so caught up. We get so caught up believing that it has to be one way or another. Rambler, I love you, friend. Thank you for joining me, for letting me share. Melty, how long are you going to fast for? I think 7 days. Maxine, I'm on day 4 and I feel pretty good for a day 4. I feel like really airy, like I'm like dragging my consciousness back into my body, like I have to hold on to it almost. So I want to go on my psychedelic adventure on a 7-day fasted body. That way, literally all of the energy in my system will be completely derived from my system. And then I can go into a psychedelic experience with this personal recognition of self. And my intention, at least this is what I want to do it for, is to melt away any stressors. I've had this eye ticking for weeks now. It drives me mildly crazy. I'm gonna heal that. I'm going to heal my obsession with food. And I don't feel I have that much of an obsession with food anymore, fortunately. It's gotten a lot better. But I'm going to like really intentionally be like, "Psst, melt this part of myself." And there was a third thing. Also break the fast while I'm tripping. Because eating after 7 days is like a whole trip in and of itself. So I wanna stack breaking a fast with having a psychedelic experience. I've never done that before. So I think it's gonna be a unique one. Again, within this air of experimentation, you are both scientist as observer, because that's what a scientist actually is on the most fundamental level. It's an observer of systems. It observes. So you are that scientist, that observer, and the lab, your body. If you put gasoline in your lab, it ceases to function. I'm so sorry to go so hard so quickly, from this point. But if you put healthy food and clean water into this lab, it really functions well, and you get to kind of experiment. Someone has tried to drink gasoline, and we were like, huh, seems that lab didn't appreciate that. And we're like, how about we don't have to run that experiment? But we can run other experiments, like speaking to our water, writing down things we're saying. smoking out of decorated bongs, setting intention for our marijuanas. Like I feel like there's so much depth to be explored within reality that it's a shame not to. Sup, Nanner? Even the Nanner is here with us, brother Corey. I seeth thee. Thank you for joining me. I saw an interesting interview in which a dude said, this is Ninja Peach, if you burned all the Bibles, religion, and the story, it wouldn't exist in 200 years. But you could burn all the math science books, and in 200 years, we still have the same story once again. I love that. Yeah, that's the way it is, right? So, like the way that little sentence should be interpreted, that is, if you destroy, and you can like expand it to 1,000 years, if you destroy all religious based text, what we believe is the reality when it comes to our spiritual beliefs, and you destroy all our math, all our science, all our physics, and you give humanity 1,000 years to rebuild, at the end of that 1,000 years, I can guarantee you $10,000 that they will have all of the math, all of the science, all of the physics exactly as it was. But they'll have whole different religious systems, whole different belief patterns, whole different societal understandings around their value between one another. And that's going to continue to happen. That has happened throughout all of existence. Out of all of existence, every single society, every single community believes something else. Something else derived from the same place with which we believe, the same place that is conscious of things to believe of in the first place. Just chilling on this wonderful day. Sun is shining and the weather is cool. And I'm here with all of you. Hope you're doing well. So well, Corey. It's nice to have you. Facts. America is founded by cults. It's true. It's true. We are. Fruit Cup is having a bit of time. Fruit Cup is having a bit of a time right now. Tired and teeth is starting to come in. Having blades protrude through your face flesh. I'm so sorry. Like I was just thinking about how you would articulate it to yourself as a child. I was like, what the fuck's happening to me? Why is there bones protruding through my face flesh? It's been so soft this whole time. I didn't sign up for this. Sending love. Sending so much love. She'll be okay. Life is abundant in the face of death. Yes. Full. Infinitely full. Even right at the moment of death. Native American Indians technically found at the Americas. Cults after that. I mean, if if like for example we as a community had to start building Native American tents and living off the land and danced around the fire once a week and had totem poles and occasionally ate psychedelic cactuses as a means to connect with our mother spirit or earth spirit, we would 100% be called a cult by the media. We would be Native Americans living in America. But if the Native Americans had to do everything they were doing, in their core essence, they would just be considered another cult as well. People have created this nice little label, and alongside the label they've created, they've also painted this label in like blood and murder. So it's a nice way to elicit very powerful and negative imagery in any person who reads it, unless you choose to reprogram yourself and your understanding of it. And I'm trying to do that. I'm doing that to myself right now. I'm like, listen. The Melt experiment. Professor Melt is the control group. Yes. Fast for 7 days and then takes acid and then tunes back in. It's like, remember that thing where I was like, thing and thing? How about don't thing? Because thing and thing and thing. Probably. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. It's probably gonna be beautiful. But even if you recreate, replicate exactly what I did, it'll be completely different for you too. You just made me cry. Happy tears. Miss Molly, we love you, friend. You can't go anywhere. You'll always be here. Your form might change, your circumstances may change, will change. But you, the fundamental consciousness, the awareness of something instead of nothing, will continue to be right here. forever with us, forever full. We see you, beloved Truth. We see you, beloved Maxine. We see you, beloved Miss Molly, Eden and Corey, Bethany and Shannon and Nana, Gateway Pro says and Jovan, sending Toasty Melosti, Edward, Edmund, excuse me. Edmund actually replied to some of my texts. Send you friends some love. Sending him love too. Sending love to the merman. Sending love to Uncle Becky. Man, sending more love to Uncle Becky. Sending more love to Uncle Becky. Damn. Sending more love. Then fine. There we go. Sending 4 loves to Uncle Becky right now. He needed a little bit more, it seems. Man, sending big love to Clint. Double love to Clint. People are so anti-cult, but so accepting of religion. It makes make it make it make sense. I can't, and that was like one of my biggest pitches. That was my biggest pitch while I was an atheist in high school because we had 2 factions of Christianity where it was the AGS and the NG Kerk. AGS they would call the happy clappy Christians, and the NG Kerk is more Catholic orals and like more Catholic. It's not exactly Catholic, but it's Catholic vibes. And I would be like, dudes, if you go and find out the definition of what a cult is, your religion and the things you believe is like word for word a cult. You do realize that? No, it's not. Yes. Yes, it is. A cult, by definition, is when a group of people come together and they believe that there is some sort of deity outside of themselves, either a person or a god which transmutes through a person, right? Or this person somehow has access to this god as the pope or whatever, the priest, right? And then you can only in part get access to this god through this person, right? Again, this separation story, not realizing that you always have a connection with the same god we all have access to. Like that is what a cult is to me, is when as soon as you tell people that you don't have access, but I do have access, and because I have access, you need to give me your money, give me your kids, give me your houses, give me your companies. Find someone who asks for nothing more than your company. Give me your company, please. Please give me your company, right? Right? And then if you give me all of these things, then only then will you have this thing that I'm gonna give you. No, bullshit. You have everything. You are everything. You don't need jack shit. Not from me, not from anyone. And if everybody tells you differently, run. Like run away from them, please. Especially if I tell you. If I'm like, hey, friend, you need this thing from me in order to be happy, then you run. You run so far. Everything we share from a place of beauty. But beauty is not a necessity. Is this stream a cult? Yeah. 100% cult, dude. Give me all your monies. That's how it works, right? I guess that's how it works. I've been reflecting the love back to you. Thank you. Back to you again, my beloved friend. I have been much more open to experimenting since happening upon this beautiful fractal. Bless you forever, Melty, and all you friends. Bless you too, Truth. Thank you for joining me. Organized religion is considered a cult. Yeah. The if you try to like write down the definitions of what an organized religion is and write down the definitions of what a cult is, it's like 1 to 1. No, it's not. It's Molly. In truth knows. He's just being playful, probably. There's no worship here, only love. Exactly. Exactly. We're not pretending that any of us are anything other than what we are. you know? Oh, this person must be so and so, so much more than me. And then I'm no. Actually, no. And if anything, is a worship of one another. That love is the worship of the self. Every single time I think about this topic, the most beautiful example, at least in a short conceptual visual way, is this monk sits down, and it might be in the Hindu religion, but bear with me. It's a koan. This monk sits down and he decides that today is the day that he will become enlightened. And he meditates for 8 hours. And he does it. He realizes, I am God. And he's so sure he understands, I am God. And he walks into the kitchen where all of the other monks are seated eating their dinner. And he comes into the room with a smile on his face and he tells them, hey, my beloved monk friends, I realized, I remembered, I am awakened, I am God. And they all look at him and they're like, congratulations, took you long enough. Now please mop the floor. uh, congratulations, took you long enough. Please mop the floor. Because that's what it is. That, yeah, you are God, but so is everyone else. So is everything else, And the understanding of you as God isn't one of, okay, now everybody fall down on your knees and start worshiping me. No. It is, oh, I get to live in a place of worship of myself and of everything always. Instead of needing the worship, you get to be the worshiper. You get to bring the beautiful into this world, literally. Whew. Thank you. Thank you so much, Eden. I feel like we're too open-minded. I feel like we're too open-minded and open to acceptance to various beliefs and versions of our own truths to be the cult, to be a cult. Yeah. But if someone wants to call it that, we'll happily accept the role of the cult. Yeah, exactly. Like we talk about Christianity, about Hinduism, about Buddhism, about New Ageism, I guess. This is something my dad would probably say. What else? Alienism, manifestationism. Like we talk about everything because we know we are everything, and all of these things have elicited from the minds of human beings because it's facets of our beingness. Exploring it only helps us grow, helps us see more of ourselves, instead of identifying with any of it, we get to explore. But I'm a plant. What would I know? You know everything, friend. You know how to plant. What more do you need to know? Like realistically. True. Best comes around. Yeah. A lady dropped by my live talk on Tuesday that is dying from cancer, and she's so excited. She said she's always struggled financially and now doesn't have to go through that more suffering as an elderly person. Imagine that, Aunt B. I'm in part kind of happy for her that she has reached that understanding and that level of depth with her own mortality. And on the other side, I'm absolutely appalled and viciously angry that someone it was so devastated their entire existence with this monetary system that they would welcome death. They would they look forward, they're excited about dying from cancer instead of having to continue existing in a world where they have to ceaselessly justify their existence, earn their existence, earn their living. It's absurd, Aunt B. But thank you for sharing that, friend. It is actually beautiful. I'm a living angel, a gatekeeper. Fact, yes. Quite literally, and especially once you accept that role. I appreciate you, Miss Molly, for taking it on so graciously. She gets to ask family and friends if they want any of her belongings and said this is her ticket. It was a beautiful perspective. It is. It is a beautiful perspective. And at this point in existence, I feel she knows, right? She knows. She knows what she needs. She knows what's going to happen. She knows. She really knows. What a beautiful level of insight that is, perspective. You're so right, Auntie. I missed I've listened to that discussion. She really is a beautiful soul with an amazing perspective. Thank you, Jumpin, for sharing that synchronicity as well. I was trying to think of her username this morning. It's unfortunate it doesn't allow who was talking on the play. It doesn't show who was talking on the playback. I will give another nudge to the admins. Please do. The wheel that keeps making noise gets the oil. I don't know if that's the way the analogy was supposed to say, but yeah. God, let me give you a little insight information about God. Al Pacino, the devil's advocate. That is an interesting quote, but I'm waiting for the insight. I'm waiting for the information, friend. Give me more. I fully support euthanasia, as controversial as it may be. I believe people deserve to die with dignity. Topic for another day. Oof! Can be so hard for others to accept another's desire to move on, yeah. But honestly, it's so beautiful when people find comfort in that journey onwards. To know that they're gonna be okay, with what then comes next as well. To not like hold on even in a smidge to fear. And it's almost like as soon as they let go of that, as soon as they melt, you know, then is when they start existing. You'll see people more alive in their eyes than ever when they're dying than you've ever seen them when they were living. I needed that hug today. Mm, Giving myself one of those as well. Yos, my hands are so cold, like ice blocks. Like my pinky finger is kind of like feeling numbish with the cold. I actually shared that passiveness is the actual issue with others. She actually shared that her passiveness is the actual issue with others. People being selfish, greedy for time, being like, "Oh, how dare you?" She will be back. Yes, she will. Seriously, like she's not gonna be gone ever. Even Miss Molly. I'm gearing up for a walk. So many different mushrooms with all of the rain and humidity. I really need an identifier book. Please get yourself one on B. Like they're definitely worth it. Love to you. Enjoy your mushroom picking. What a beautiful and comforting thing to say. Thank you. Thank you, Auntie, for listening and for reading. Girl, you need hugs. I got plenty, and I'm always happy to share. I may not be rich, but I'm rich with love, and I'm no love miser. Oh, yeah. Sending all of that love free of charge. Gangs and gangs every single day. Every single day, love. So much. I'm also not rich, but I'm abundant in love as well. Thank you, Eden. Thank you for saying something like that. Yeah, I can give love. Something that I can at least give every day. I hope that it means as much to you as it means to me. I know it does. I appreciate you, friends, for that. There's always a way to find out. You guys ever get morals? I've not wanting morels. Oh, I want to actually have some morels. Me too. Me too, Maxine. It's been so hype with the internet at this point. On all of the mushroom subreddits. My brain is like, yes, I in fact want. Like, I believe that those mushrooms inadvertently cured my trypophobia because I'm like, yes, I would eat them. Y'all join me if you're available, please. Thank you, friends. I'm actually gonna end the stream. Actually, I wanna pull a card first. I wanted to end the stream so you can go and join on B. Y'all have me smiling. Thank you, on B. Thank you, friend. So much hugs to you. I think my YouTube comments might have broken down. Let's see. Yeah, I did. Mariah and Sena. I've sent some love. Can you make a video about fasting and what not to do during fasting, and maybe next time we can do it together? I could do that, Sena. I could do that. And I feel like the words that are coming to my mind is so pompous that I don't even want to say them. But the words that are coming to my mind is that it's not on brand, and yet it is. It is completely on brand for me to do something like that. But I don't consider myself a healthcare professional. I don't know anything, to be very real. So I feel if I were to tell people how they should do things and they hurt themselves by listening to me, I would not be able to forgive myself because they're me listening to me messing myself up. So I won't be able to forgive myself. So thank you. Thank you so much, Saina, for that encouragement, friend. Like there's good data by doctors on YouTube, you know, that go into the depth of fasting, and I would rather you listen to them than to me. Like I believe in myself and I believe in the things I understand and share with you friends, but I'm sharing what I am sharing from a perspective of perspective, right? Like I'm giving my perspective so that you can have perspective, so that you can find your own perspective. I never want you to just one to one take my perspective and be like, "Yep, this is the way that it is. This is reality," because that's not the way that it's supposed to work. The heart Taurus. I believe that we're here to explore our infinities, right? So, I want you to though, Sena. That's the thing. You know, I want you to fast because it's the best longevity medicine we have right now as well. If you want to live longer, you know, biologically, on a cellular level, on a mitochondrial level, on a autophagy of the dead cells that your body inevitably builds up over time level, fasting is a great way to do so. It's medicine. That's a brilliant in the MLT. Should I pick this? Thank you, Mariah. Thank you so much, love. You like the you like the video idea for fasting? Considers it even more. I love you, friends, so much. I'll do anything. That's the thing as well. Yes, most religions are cults, and they follow the same God of different names. By the way, most Christianity is pagan. Exactly. Give me the money. You're hilarious. Yes, give me. Ask for nothing. Like I love that one specifically because it's this meme where it's this kind of like mushy, you know, little hearts all over the background text. Find someone who asks for nothing more than your company, you know, and it's like, oh, so it's so romantic, so cute. And then the next slide is this little stick figure pointing towards a dude's factory and then being like, give me your factory or gonna give me your company, you know, and he's like, no. No, you can't have my company. All the isms. So much love to you, Mariah. Yay, car time. I think what not to do a fast. Yeah, exactly, Joy Vive. Joy Vive is like so in tune. I appreciate your honesty, Mel. I love you, Sena. I really love you, friend. And if I give you information that you like, the basics of the information that I'm like already doing the video in my head, watching myself going through the whole editing process, you know, posting it eventually, watching people watch me explain this topic, and it basically goes in this context of when you fast, you don't eat. That's rule number one, you know, as our beloved Joy Vive shared with us. You don't eat food. Then the second rule is you stay hydrated. The third rule is make sure you get electrolytes, as in salts. You can like mix like a half teaspoon of salt into your water every day. That should work. You can do a little bit more than that. I do like a teaspoon of salt every day, but it's a good amount of salt, right, to get your electrolytes in. Multivitamins can help as well. And then you just don't do anything, jokingly enough. Like that's the nice thing about fasting as well is you do less and you get more, right? Like if especially if your journey or your objective is to lose weight, healthy weight, right? You want to lose weight without losing muscle mass, then fasting is the way to do that. Because your body instantly upregulates your growth hormone, which protects muscle mass. You can exercise as well while fasting, which I do to kind of I think of it as reminding my body that I need these, right? Like I'm fasting, which means my body isn't getting any calories, but I'm also using my muscles. So my body is like, shit, this dude isn't getting any food, but he also needs his muscles. So we can't eat his muscles. We guess we're gonna have to eat the fat. And then I believe my body does that. So like you technically do less by fasting and you lose more weight and you'll lose healthier weight in doing so, but consult your physician. Disclaimer, 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 disclaimer. Thank you for the silver. I appreciate that, beloved Jovan. Damn, I can listen to you all day and I feel like you're more gangster than me. Say no. I love you, Fred. Thank you. I'm definitely gonna start today since I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Try it for 2 days. Like just 2 days is a great start. The way that I kind of plan on doing it going forward is to fast the last 3 days, between the last 3 and last 4 days of every month. That way, 10%, I want to at least 10% of my entire year spent fasting. I feel like conceptually on a mental level, that makes me happy because not only would I have treated myself to fasting, which is great for you on a biological level, but also I would have saved 10% of the resources I would have normally consumed in a whole year, which could be a lot of resources, right? So, double benefit. The Heart Taurus card. I love this card. It's beautiful. Number 48. I have a massive bladder, which Pippi is pressing down on, which I'm going to spend within deep heart intelligence to ignore her. Just like tuning in with her. How to get dogpiled. You say you hug in a mouse. Who needs hugs? You need hugs? Disclaimer, we need friend. Listening to our own guidance of the info we share. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Auntie. I know that you know this too. I just love you, friends, so much, and I want you to always know that that's what I think about you. Namaste, friends. All the love to you too, Corey. Thank you. We share. There's a difference. Absolutely. Thank you, Jumpin. See you around, beloved friend. So much love to you. Meltmore, big love. Love to you, Jumpin. It was always and is always a pleasure having you here, Mariah. Uh, to class. Love to you, Truth. Thank you, friends. Okay. The torus is a piece of sacred geometry that, when viewed as a three-dimensional object, looks rather like a donut. The human heart has 7 muscles that form a torus, and it is the shape of the Earth's magnetic field. The toroidal energy connects you with the intelligence of your heart and asks you to become conscious of the effects that emotions have on your ability to experience life wholly. Emotions open your heart and can lead to a deeper connection with self and others, allowing you to feel more at peace and in balance. Emotions can also baffle your intellect and stir up confusion. Integrating head and heart, mind and emotions is the expression and the function of the intelligence of your heart. Meditate with your heart, Taurus. Sit within this dynamic movement and really feel its vitality as you knowingly connect with your heart. Consciously experience the emotions that arise and bless what you are feeling, asking how this may inform what is occurring in your life today. Allow yourself to feel gratitude for every human ability to experience emotions, and in doing so, honor the intelligence of your heart. By your compartmentalizing. Struck by your compartmentalizing. Me? By mine? Maxine? What does compartmentalizing mean even? I'm stupid. You're not even melting. I know. I know. I don't. But compartmentalizing is when you put things in small compartments in your mind, and you're like, yes, this little thing. Do I do that? I guess I do that, right? And I try to articulate. Now I'm subconscious. Donut, waste of good donuts. Yeah, see, this dude is like really on it. Fried Herbert's plant. Like you're gonna get bonked though. You're gonna get bonked out of existence, man. Don't want to see that happen to you. Thanks again, Meltmore. Once again, I feel whole again. I'm so blessed to have you guys in my life. I'm sending y'all so much love and light, my friends. Beloved Sana, you are us. We are you, friend. You have found yourself by extension. Spend some time with yourself with that recognition, please. Just without a phone, without music, without something to eat. Just spend some time with yourself, remembering that you were whole this whole time. We love you to bits, Sana. It's such a pleasure having you here with us. If you can read this, know that I see you within I see love within you. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for sharing that as well. Shannon, damn it. Now I want a donut. Me too, Sana. I actually also want donuts now. So much love to you, friends. I think a lot of people compartment. I need to go to the bathroom so bad. I think a lot of people compartmentalize, but we also almost knocked my glass over. I love you, friends, so much. I need to go and give water back to the universe. It is calling for the water that I have borrowed from it. Fine, I'm coming, universe. I'm giving the water back. You can take it. I love you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Ah, man, I missed Brother Corey's message as it was coming through. Love you. Thank you for joining me again. Shan, Mariah, Sena, Joe. Maybe our gateway process is still here. Maybe No Truth is not here anymore. Maybe Gobbledygoo is somewhere in the lurky as well. Love you all, even if I'm not saying your name. I'll say your name again tomorrow.